Good Monday afternoon, everybody. Meteorologist Casey Cloud here in the Weather Center with a severe weather alert as we do have a severe thunderstorm warning remaining in effect here until 2:15 for parts of Duval and Nassau counties. And the reason I wanted to break in is because we're starting to see this move into more populated areas now, and we've still seen a pretty good wind signature within the radar here as well. As you can see, some pretty bright colors showing up low to the ground here, 58, 59 miles an hour as we're getting there toward parts of Duval County here over the next little bit. Right now in Nassau County, though, but still going to be crossing over, it looks like, a US 301 over the next few minutes. So just wanted to go ahead and give you guys a heads up here because this is going to be moving closer toward the Jacksonville International Airport over the next little bit. So just want to make sure you guys know what's going on. That's what we're breaking in. I posted about it a little while ago as it was over more rural areas toward Charlton County. But now, again, moving into Nassau and then ultimately Duval County here. Potential for some damaging wind gusts this afternoon. So let's go ahead and go on over back to reflectivity mode of the Doppler. Severe thunderstorm was located near Ratliff or near Callahan at 157, moving east at 25 miles an hour. It looks like we have Jacksonville as well as Hilliard, Callahan, Jacksonville International Airport, Cisco Gardens, Nassau Village, Ratliff, Briceville, and White House Airfield under the severe thunderstorm warning. Now, it seemed like we might have been seeing a little bit of a weakening here in the storm, but that could just be because we're getting closer to the radar site, so the winds might not show up quite as strong because we're looking lower down, but still seeing 60-mile-an-hour wind here on the radar on the last scan, pretty close to the ground, impressive, but now we're starting to see a little bit of a decrease on this latest scan. It looks like down to about 54 miles an hour, but still doesn't mean the wind could not be reaching the surface here in toward parts of Duval County, Nassau counties here, as we have to be kind of cognizant of what's going on as we have that potential here of this as we're looking toward the first coast this afternoon. So again, continuing to watch this here. I'm going to go ahead and switch between some of our different radars here in just a moment as we continue to monitor this weather situation. Just wanted to jump on this afternoon for this threat. Again, we'll zoom out to see what else is happening across the area here. You do see a storm toward Keystone, prompting there a report of a gust of 29 miles an hour just a few minutes ago down there. Nothing severe or even significant, I guess you could say, or covered by a significant weather advisory. But again, severe thunderstorm warning for parts of Nassau and Duval counties continues to 2:15. We're seeing some pretty strong wind here within reflectivity. You can see how strong that was over rural Charlton County, and they waited to issue that warning just because they were trying to figure out maybe if it was reaching the surface. But now that latest scan a little weaker, but still that might be a little misleading because we're looking at under 1,000 feet and we're still getting wind of 50. So there's a high confidence still, maybe 50-mile-an-hour wind reaching the surface here as we're getting there toward US 301. So I got to be cognizant of that here. We'll be watching again as this moves toward the Jacksonville International Airport area here over the next little bit. So again, it's a severe thunderstorm warning remaining in effect. That's where we're coming on this afternoon because the airport, of course, draws quite a bit of traffic there, and also just even other parts of Duval, Nassau counties as well. We got to watch for Callahan here in Ratliff. Seems like the worst might pass to the south of Callahan, closer toward Ratliff, though. Would be between Callahan and Briceville, really, over the next little bit. As you can see, some of these brighter colors still indicative of maybe 50-mile-an-hour wind here in this area possible, but again, not quite as organized as it was a little bit further off toward the west in the rural areas here. But again, moving to more urban areas here in Duval County, or at least more populated areas. So got to be cognizant of that. We'll go ahead and continue this coverage right now as we are looking for the latest information from the Weather Service. The last check here that we got from them, their last update about 1:57 or so, was that the severe thunderstorm was located near Ratliff or near Callahan, moving east at about 25 miles an hour. Again, Jacksonville, Hilliard, Callahan, Jacksonville International Airport, Cisco Gardens, Nassau Village, Ratliff, Briceville, and White House Airfield. So going to continue to watch this here to see if we get reports from the airport because there is a sensor there. So we should get a report from that. I know we just got a gust of 16 at Fernandina Beach. Not too impressive, but it's popping up, so thought I'd make note of that here. But we'll go ahead and go to the northeast right now because there is a tornado warning in play related to Tropical Depression Henri. So let's go ahead and jump on to that right now. You'll kind of see what we're talking about on our other map, and you can see northwest of Boston there, and this looks like a bunch of shower action, but we've had some funnel cloud reports, brief tornado touchdowns here, as unlike yesterday, really into toward Massachusetts, we've been seeing a mix of some instability today because it's just so disorganized now, and then I say getting at least a little bit of rotational parameters there as well to kind of coincide with that. So not very strong, those parameters, but enough maybe to get some landspout type tornadic action. So just wanted to let you guys know about that there as we're looking up toward the north, what's left there of Henri. But we'll go ahead and zoom back out as you see some of the shower action around there. We'll go over toward the risk area. You see there's a marginal risk there, but as we take it back down to our area, no formal severe weather risk today, but still have a warning. Second day in a row, we've had a warning for parts of Duval County here. Yesterday, having reports there at about 60 miles an hour or so, and today, seeing it on radar pretty clear. Sometimes I see the warning more for a downburst signature, but it was clear. 60 mile an hour area of wind showing up within radar, maybe even multiple areas. So we were watching that. We were posting about that there as that warning did get issued. Waited to go on because it was such a rural area to see if it would break down because it's just a summertime environment. But it wasn't really breaking down, so we needed to go ahead and jump on here. But it has seemingly started to break down there in the last couple of radar scans. But still, that could just be kind of a fact of it being closer to the radar as well, not seeing as high up, so maybe the winds aren't reaching down to the surface as much as maybe it looked like further off. But we're getting very close here to the radar with this. You can see maybe 50 mile an hour wind, and in fact, we just got a significant weather advisory in for parts of Duval and Nassau, so that tells me they'll probably go with a significant weather advisory downstream for wind gusts of 45 to 55 versus continuing this warning. But we'll kind of stay with it for a few more minutes to make sure they don't. But that's still pretty strong. 45 to 55 mile an hour winds moving toward the airport. They're talking about some of the worst of this here, not that far from Callahan, but probably a little bit to the south. You kind of see how things are more disorganized now within the radar echoes here as we're looking closer down toward the surface. We've seen some weakening. I noticed the boundary kind of emerged here on radar. If you look here, and that's generally associated with a storm that's going to be weakening here. You can see how that boundary kind of moves out ahead of this. So that's now occurring, but it was just taking a while there. We didn't want to have a situation where we had damage around parts of northern Duval County and then not be on for it. So that's why we're breaking in. You see that significant weather advisory popping up further off toward the east now. We'll continue to monitor this situation, stay on for a few more minutes, but I do not anticipate this warning being extended, but still maybe some gusty winds still could have a little bit of damage. I mean, gusts to 55 miles an hour are still pretty strong and pretty noteworthy, and sometimes those sensors there out toward the airport are up a little bit higher, so that could get us a higher rating even in that area. Still something to watch even for areas all the way out to the beaches there of Nassau and Duval, and they have gone ahead and expired the severe thunderstorm warning now, so that's good news. It's a short fuse situation. You have to kind of just be watching sometimes. Cloud_Twitter on Twitter always tweets out these alerts as soon as they come on out from the Jacksonville Tallahassee offices. Also know where the radio sends out those alerts immediately. Other times of year, when we're talking about maybe the fall, the spring, we'll be on here. Even the winter months as well will be on out ahead of a threat generally because it's more organized in nature versus more isolated or scattered. So that's something to kind of bear in mind. This time of year, it's just kind of playing whack-a-mole really with the storms. I mean, when a storm will pop up, it'll get a warning and then kind of fall apart. But we saw a little more endurance with this, so that's why we wanted to go ahead and jump on because we were concerned that there could be some more dangerous wind moving toward the airport area. They were under that warning, now just an advisory. So we'll go ahead and wrap the covered up now. But you can see how we had this wind off toward the west here. It was showing up pretty well there near, it looks like County Road 4. This is very rural areas we're talking about now in Charlton, so that's why we didn't want to go ahead and worry about maybe breaking in there because we were wondering if that would hold together. Haven't had any damage reports out of that area yet, but it's possible there could have been some damage as you see that wind area kind of well organized, but now falling apart. We did just get a report though on the outflow boundary that I kind of was showing you there a gust of 45 still with that at the airport now being reported. So still having some pretty nasty wind effects here this afternoon, even if we're not talking about severe weather now in the traditional sense. So we'll go ahead and wrap it up for now. Go ahead and get ready a little bit more for that update that will be on for around 4 o'clock, give or take, that late afternoon time frame, 4:30. We'll be on here for that to give you that full report on what's going on with the weather situation across our area, North Florida and South Georgia. But for now, thanks so much for tuning in. I'm meteorologist Casey Cloud. I know we'll have an update on that flooding situation that we saw there over the weekend up toward Waverly, Tennessee. Just so tragic, so devastating there. Many fatalities, many missing there. Just kind of came together all of a sudden there, unfortunately. And folks just having to make the best of the situation. And unfortunately, again, so many lives lost up there. We'll have an update on that and more coming up here in a couple hours in that full update.